we talked about what was preparing to be the worst game in NFL history, and boy, did it live up to expectations. Was it a great game to watch? Absolutely. I loved all of it.
Yes.
But talk about a game where both teams lost. I mean, you have the Bears, right? This team hasn't won since Elon Musk bought Twitter a year ago, right?
Right.
And then on the other side, you have the Broncos, who just gave up 70 points to the Dolphins, okay? And for the first 3 quarters, the Bears dominate the Broncos. We're talking Justin Fields throws for 350 yards. He throws for more touchdowns than he's thrown in all 3 games. First 300-yard passing game of his career. He's averaged 167 yards a game passing in his career, and he doubles that against your Broncos team. And then, in typical Bears fashion.
Who's your Broncos team?
Oh, it's not you. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking
don't assign them to me. I don't want them.
to Broncos fans in the comments section. And then, in typical Bears fashion, what do the Bears do? Just find ways to lose. I mean, this is what a team that is at the end of the season and they're trying to lock up a number 1 pick. It's like they're trying to do that right now. And 28-7, right? Justin Fields is playing the best football I've ever seen him play, right? Running all over them, passing all over them, throwing darts to DJ Moore, scoring touchdowns, and their defense is playing well against Russ. And then whatever happened there, I'm still trying to break things down of how that just completely collapsed in the way that it did. So on one end, the Broncos leave saying, wow, Justin Fields cooked us. A guy who is being compared to Daniel Jones at this point, a guy who has averaged 167 passing yards through his first 3 years in the league. He just threw for his first 300-yard game, has more touchdowns in this game, and more touchdowns and incompletions in this game. And our defense that just scored at 70 points. And then on the other side, we almost won this game. The game was right in our hands. We're 28-7. And then you just find ways to lose. At this point, I don't know how Matt Eberflus has a job at this point. I don't know how their offensive coordinator has a job, how their GM, how their owner at this point. I mean, good God, if I was the Bears fans, I would ride in the streets. I would take each brick out of Soldier Field until it completely collapses and say, sell the team. This is embarrassing. How does a team, this is the only team in professional sports who has not won a game since October of last year. Guess what month? We're in October right now. Good God, it's been 1 full fucking year and they haven't won a game. And they're not going to.
Yeah, this is tough for me because, well, I'm not a Chicago Bears fan. I like to consider myself a bear enthusiast in general, like the actual bear, like not the Chicago Bear. And it pains me that a team named the Bears is so pathetic. I mean, you guys don't have the smarts of Yogi Bear. You don't have the toughness of the Winnie the Pooh from Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, where he murders everybody. You don't have the wherewithal and logic of Smokey Bear. Maybe we don't start fires and burn down California. So it's like you don't have the ability to search for your own food so you can hibernate all off season and then come back and then just beat down a bunch of other teams and maul people. It's like you don't have any qualities of an actual bear. How can you call yourself the Bears and be this pathetic? I've never seen more pathetic Bears in my life. I mean, good God, guys. And then you have Justin Fields, who comes out and balls in this game, albeit versus the Denver Broncos. And the only reason why you were dominating in this game, Justin Fields finally got his head out of his ass and he's like, maybe I should throw to my top 5 tight end in the league and Cole Kmet and good things will happen. And guess what? He threw to Cole Kmet and Cole Kmet, turns out he's an actual Bear. He's the only person on the Chicago Bears that actually lives up to the name Bear on the team. It's like, how are you this pathetic? We are the Bears. Bears roar. Bears do not whimper and hide in their cave. Why do you only hibernate? It's like you guys are on the same schedule as a bear where you're kind of competitive in September and then by October you're already ready to hibernate and go away. Well, the season's not in the summer. You're not on the schedule of an actual bear. You are the Chicago Bears that play football. Your job is not to hibernate in the winter. Like, I don't get this team. Do you suck? And with Matt Eberflus, he's trying to deliver the next great quarterback to Chicago. Justin Fields was Matt Nagy's guy. I can see now why Matt Nagy didn't want to start him. When everyone was giving Matt Nagy grief, there were some pretty bad insults thrown his way when he decided to start Andy Dalton. People were comparing it to starting Tom Savage over Deshaun Watson. That didn't age well. What are we doing, media, pressuring Matt Nagy to roll Justin Fields out there when he clearly still can't process information in his own words? We're getting raided by the FBI because coordinators are stealing equipment. And then Matt Eberflus, let me call the worst play ever on fourth down. I mean, my God, are you tanking on purpose? Because if Matt Eberflus doesn't get fired by the end of the year and is still the head coach and isn't fired in season, his job is to make this team the worst team possible. Why did we spend all this money on the defense? Your defensive head coach, your defense sucks. Like, I get you're not an offensive head coach, but this is what happens when you don't hire an offensive guy. And I get we're still reminiscing about the big bad 85 Bears in Chicago. It's like, oh, we love our defense in Chicago. It's like, yeah, well, the NFL today is about offense. And you guys suck at that too. So if you don't have defense or you don't have offense, you don't have, oh, I know, W's.